Hi, everybody. We've got a few people just logging in now, so we're just going to let everyone go, and then we'll kick off. Have we got James from Overtone on? So we should have a few there, so we'll just let everyone come on then, and then James, if you jump on at some point, just let us know. And then we'll get you in for the tasting as well this evening too. So cool. But yeah, thank you all very much for joining us this evening, guys. We are here to talk, of course, about Thornbridge Beer Club, our December beer box. Joined tonight, we'll have James from Overtone joining us. We've got Charlotte, of course, helping us out here and getting everything organized, and then Russell, our tap room manager, as well, to talk through some of the beers and a little bit about what's going on too. So yeah, thank you again all for joining us. It's Christmas month, it's December. I know people have got lots of plans, so appreciate you taking the time to come join us for some drinks, to hang out and just chat about beer as well. As always, we'll keep the chat open on the side, so any questions you have, anything at all about the beers, what beers you've enjoyed last month, what beers you're enjoying this month, let us know. We can figure that out for you. We can talk about those as well. So it's just nice to have everyone together and be chatting about beer, of course. So thank you very much. But starting out, we'll talk crack a beer open. I don't want anyone getting thirsty. So the first beer, we've got 6 in Beer Club this month. The first one is Ravenna. So people may have seen Ravenna before. It's one that pops up every so often, and one that we really enjoy brewing. We like making it. We've got printed cans, which is always a big thing for us as well. And this is a light, hazy Mosaic IPA. So as you'd expect, bag full of Mosaic, one of our favorite hops, a really fun one to brew with. And this one here, this is actually named for that reason as well. So we looked at famous mosaics, and we were looking at the Ravenna mosaics in northern Italy. So that inspired the name. So a little bit different. You've got that nice, I like this sort of lighter blue that we use for the cans as well. And goes well with pizza there, Tina. Yeah, certainly one that I'd enjoy with something like that. It's got that nice lightness to it, only clocking in at 4.5%. So not too wild. It's got that nice light quaffability as well. You can see as we hold it up here, you get that really almost luminescent, that light pale haze. You get the nice head going around the top as you'd expect there. There's a good bit of wheat and everything else in it too. And so from this one, expect as you go in, you're going to get that classic kind of mosaic, that juicy, tropical, really fruity flavored as well. And just something, like I say, it's light, it's drinkable. We've done it a couple of times previously. It's backed by popular demand after having actually quite a good run on keg as well for us. And so we're excited just to be able to put it into Beer Club, to be able to talk about it. And as always, please let us know your thoughts as we go through as well there. We've got the chat open, so Tina's already started mentioning with pizzas. Anyone else food pairing it or tucking into it? Has anyone had it before and they're trying it again? Let us know what you think. But certainly a fun one for us to, I think, start with, a nice light one to set the palate off as well. And then after that, once we get working our way through the different beers that we have here too, we've gone quite light to start out with a couple of big dark December beers as well coming up too. So we've got next the Quiet Storm Cashmere. So this one, you remember the Quiet Storm series is now going very strongly for us. We've brewed a huge range of different beers within the Quiet Storm style. The name itself coming randomly from an NFL podcast that we'd been listening to as well at work, and then turning that into a nice series too. So Quiet Storm, with those additions of different single hops, we want to give a good exploration and a way of trying those hops, and then hopefully you can try them down the line and think, oh, start to pick them out of different beers and things like that as well. So the Cashmere, it comes out of, it's the west coast of the US. It's a bit of a cross between a couple of different varieties of hops. So we end up with, they call a dual purpose. So something that's really good for bittering, but also really great for flavor, for aromatics as well. And we thought would lend itself perfectly to doing a single hop beer. We've tried it in the past with a hazy sort of single hop, a bit lower ABV, having a bit of a play around, and we know it works nicely. So doing it in a nice clear beer with a great, again, that fantastic look to it. I always like the way you get the carbonation, especially off the Thornbridge glasses, of course, with that nice nucleation at the bottom there as well. Comes up light, pale, and then as you go in, Kashmir one, when we've done it before, people have pointed out it's almost like a little bit like those kind of tropical fruit sweets you used to get. There's that little coconut. There's a little bit of sweetness that comes through on here as well. But something I really do enjoy, actually. It works perfectly, of course, for those reasons I mentioned, but other ones as well, for being just a really tasty single hop pale ale too. Steve, I've just seen, got knocked off. So hopefully you're doing all right there, Steve. That's not good, but glad you've got back in time for a beer at least anyway. And hopefully that's helping you relax a little bit this evening after that. So sorry, Steve. But hopefully, like I say, the Quiet Storm's doing well. And then, so from there, I think, have we got James in there from, can I see? I'm just looking there. Oh, I can see. Yeah, sorry. There you are. Hi, James. How you doing? Oh, sorry. I think you're just still on mute there.
Yeah.
How are you doing, James? You all right?
Cool. Doing well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Good. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I hadn't clocked you right at the start there, so it took me a sec. But no, thank you for joining us this evening. It's much appreciated taking the time. Again, I know it's close to Christmas as well, so yeah, thank you very much. So we've got James from Overtone who's joining us to talk about the beer as well, and hopefully tell us all about Overtone itself as well. And I mean, if you don't mind, James, it's a beer, we're going to come on to next, but if you don't mind telling us a little bit about the brewery, about, everything. I saw you've got a Christmas sale on in the shop at the minute. So any beers we should look out for, just anything at all, please tell us all about it.
Cool. Yeah, we came to market about 4 years ago. In fact, we just had our fourth birthday party in October. We I guess we specialize in the hoppy, hazy, dry hop products. We do a bit of stouts and barrel aging and bit of fruited sour beers as well. But yeah, our speciality is hazy pales, hazy IPAs, ranging from run about 4% up to the biggest one we've produced so far, so 12% triple IPA. Yeah, our head brewer's from New Hampshire, so it's a state that lends itself to the hoppy hazy stuff. And yeah, I've been with Overtone as the head of sales for just over 3 years now.
Okay, well, fantastic. It's obviously making its way out and about. I saw you in Systembolaget over in Sweden recently. I saw you were getting some beers out there.
Yeah, it's the export journey is quite strange. Different countries are obviously experiencing different things just now, but the Systembolaget is the Swedish market and the Danish market are the two guys that are stocking our products most out of everybody just now. So it's nice to have the support from them, which is great.
Good. Yeah, no, I was excited to see you, of course, having just seen you over at Peakender as well and everything else. It was yeah, good to see the beers there and very positively talked about as well, I heard. So that's nice. Good to see.
Thank you.
I was excited to tell them, of course, about our collab too. So that's always nice. But yeah, it was certainly good to see it. And talking of, so this one, you had your case, you said yesterday. Did it land with you?
Yeah, thank you. It was great. It didn't last very long. We've got a wee area of the brewery where we put any beers that come in, and yeah, I made sure and took out the ones for the tasting tonight, and then today all the beers are gone. So the brew team got stuck writing about them.
That's good. No messing about.
yeah. Anyone working from home has got nothing. But yeah, the collab, Pride of Thy Father.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a hazy IPA, which is kind of what we're known for. It's hot with Idaho 7, Citra, Vic, and Kashmir, and it's all about the kind of stone fruits and kind of grapefruit. Mm-hmm. The esters, I've not cracked it yet.
Let's do it.
But yeah, I can't wait to crack into it. I've got a glass full, so I'm going to sip it from the can.
No problem. That's it. So this one, if you haven't had the chance, anyone to crack them open yet, Pride of Thy Father was from named from Peakender, where you were giving a nice talk, and we were impressed by the excitement from your family and everything else as well. So
I think the real story, James, was my father had one of the passes that got him Jaipur on keg for free, and he'd had a couple. Typical Belfast man, free beer. I'll have some of that. When he was sat up the back row giving me abuse pelters, so in a fun way. There wasn't anything nasty about it. And I think Dom was witness to it, and he thought it was hilarious that my father was giving me pelters in this room full of 50 people in to sample some beer. So yeah, my dad actually has COVID just now, so I sent him a picture of the beer and told him I'll get him a couple of. Oh, he's all right. He's gone this far without getting it, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
So I sent him a picture saying, "Yeah, it's all gone, Jimbo. You're not getting any beer," which he was quite annoyed about. Told him it was a joke. So yeah, he's chuffed to bits. He's been a Thornbridge fan for a long time. So have I. So it's yeah, I think we're both very proud that Overtone are working with them. So.
No, it's cool. No, it's great. And yeah, and it was very well received as well. You and your dad at Peakender, it was it was nice. It added a good bit extra. Maybe you should take him to all your tastings as well, just to heckle you from
Definitely not. No chance of that. No chance of that.
Get lots more beers named after him. Maybe he'll be following you around now. So no, it was good though. Well, yeah. So for anyone who didn't make it down, we had, of course, Overtone and James pouring some great beers at Peakender. Went down very well in our tasting rooms too. Certainly one of the most popular and one of the most talked about afterwards as well. So thank you for coming along for that, and then inspiring the beer too. So as you say, we've got that real nice. It's a little thicker on the haze than the previous, the Ravenna. But that's how we like it, especially at 6%. We want to have something really kind of pulsing out, doing a lot with a heavy lift into that flavor. You mentioned those big hops we're using in there as well, right from Idaho 7 to even having a little bit of cashmere again as well. So one that we're very excited for. I know all of our brewers have been talking back and forth for a while, getting the recipe between them, making sure everyone was happy. And from the results, as you say, it's been very well drunk down at the brewery. We've been sending kegs all over the place as well. And so, yeah, the feedback's already starting to come in. It's going to be pouring at the tap room, of course. It's going to be pouring at our pubs. And I know you'll have some cans down there as well, too. And so I mentioned also, you've got your online shop, you've got Christmas coming up. What should people be looking out for? What's the best beer to try? If they're getting a few of your beers for maybe the first time or second time, what would you recommend?
I mean, we've got 3 barrel-aged stouts just now. One Death by Stereo is a cracker. Let me see, it was bourbon barrels aged on maple syrup, cocoa nibs, vanilla, and coffee. Another one is a kind of malt whiskey barrel that we used for that. If you like big IPAs, Starstruck Express is a 10% triple IPA. Again, big juice bomb, looks like chicken stock when you pour it, if you know what I mean. And then the lighter stuff, we've got lots of kind of light products from Small Works, which is a really lightly hopped table beer at 3.5 with Idaho 7 and Topaz, and a few other Showcase and Strata and Pacific Sunrise hops.
Nice. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So anyone getting a chance or wanting to check a bit more out, there is the Christmas deals on at the minute. So pop on down. And where are we best finding your beers otherwise? I know, of course, you're up in Scotland, in Glasgow, and you've got you've got a tap room up there? We
don't yet, unfortunately. Okay. No, we looked at a couple of sites earlier on this year, but that's something that's still eluding us. So if you wanted to buy beer, they can buy direct. We ship quite a lot to England as well, so there's a lot of the kind of local bottle shops will have stock some of our products as well.
Perfect. Oh, good. Well, that'd be nice. And then, is there anywhere you're going to be? I know it's coming up to Christmas now. Are you out and about at any events and you've got planned next year?
So far, we've got one in Breda in Holland in September. Nice. And we're over in Lausanne in Switzerland at the start of February. And we've got a few other ones that we're going to follow up on last year, but that's a little bit of traveling that we've got. We had an event last night in a place called Drygate, which is also a brewery in Glasgow, attached to the Tenants place. It was a cracking event.
Yeah, they had I've eaten some really nice. This might be something people say every time they come up with the haggis. There was really good. I had a couple of years ago. Yeah, I like Drygate a lot. We did, what was it? Scotland Craft Beer Fest, Edinburgh. The Drygate Craft Beer Festival 5 or 6 years ago up there. It was really fun.
Yeah, Beer Makes Glasgow. It's not been running obviously for a couple of years,
yes,
but
yeah,
I hope they bring it back next year. I don't know why it didn't happen this year, but it's great festival. Like, yeah, really good.
Nice. Yeah, fantastic. Well, yeah, you'll see us out and about as well, hopefully, and hopefully we'll bump into you in a few other places there too as well. So yeah, again, thank you. I mean, this beer is very nice. You can tell a bit. Of course, you guys are, very well known and respected for your hazy beers. You mentioned already getting the brewer in from the States and stuff, but people know very well of you. So it was fun to brew up a hazy beer. That was exactly what we were wanting to do when we worked together, learn a little bit from you guys as well with what you're doing there. And so, yeah, thank you for taking the time to collab with us.
No worries at all. Thank you. As I say, like I've always very much held Thornbridge in massive high regards. It was one of the brews that paved the way, and one of the products that got people interested. You look at Jaipur and Halcyon back in the day; they were products that got me drinking craft beer.
Oh, good. Well, it came full circle then in that case. So yeah, but it's very nice, this one as well. And yeah, I've enjoyed drinking this one so far. So hopefully everyone else is as well there too. But again, thank you, James, for taking the time to come on and jump on. I'm sure hopefully to more people who haven't had Overtone, it'll drink it, and lots of people who, of course, know it, especially from Peakender as well, will be drinking a bit more of it too. They sound like some good bangers you've got there in the online shop as well, so I'll be keeping an eye for that myself. We've still got a few days to Christmas yet, so
definitely.
Yeah.
I'll get a couple of cases down the post as well.
Well, I wasn't fishing you, so it's
all right. No.
Never say no. So, but yeah, no, thank you very much. Cheers.
No worries,
and if anyone, of course, gets any questions, pop them in the chat. Give anything you've got about Overtone or James, of course, please let us know. So yeah, keep them coming in, and yeah, thanks again, James, and we'll keep sort of rolling through the beers. Hopefully you enjoy the rest that you've managed to keep hold of in the house.
Yeah. I'll stick myself on mute while I'm eating some crisps, but I'm going to stay on and have a few beers with you. Is that all right?
Brilliant. Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thanks again. Okay, so yeah, please, anyone popping them in the chat, we'll be keeping an eye on them. So if you've got any questions, anything at all, Overtone or James, shoot them in there too. Steve, sorry, I just saw that. Sorry to hear you got some pain coming through on there, but hopefully, like I say, you're relaxed and at home now as well. Aled, you've got birthday beers as well. Oh, well done. So that is a big month for you. So congrats on doing the full, well, happy birthday. And, congrats on getting there to the Beer Club glass as well. Steve, next month you'll be enjoying it. So yeah, and hopefully you do enjoy those glasses, guys. We do the anniversary ones, as you know. So I have also been in it 2 years, so I need to pick that one up myself as well. But I've got my 1 year I'm still drinking from here. But everyone else, keep an eye out for them too as they're coming out. So we move on from there. Hopefully people have been enjoying it. It was really fun, as always, doing the collaboration brew, and especially coming on the back of Peakender, and whenever we can tie a nice story in as well, it's something that we all enjoyed while that was happening there as well. Keith, tempted to buy the big Christmas box from Overtone. There you go. You're certainly not going to be disappointed. The beers, they were really one of the best respected and well taken on breweries that we had at Peakender for the whole event. So certainly won't be disappointed trying all their beers from there too. So I hope you do enjoy your way through. We're going to get a little bit bigger, darker here as well as we go into Tap It. Annual release, it seems now, our chocolate orange stout. When we thought about Christmas beers, it's something we've noticed it can be a bit tricky. We've got bigger and bigger over the years until it's a point where we brew a Christmas beer, and believe me, it's not something you want to be brewing a Santa beer and have any left. So we like to brew nice wintry beers, and chocolate orange seems like a no-brainer. We love chocolate orange. It's got such fantastic notes. It blends itself so perfectly whenever you're drinking or eating, of course, at this time of year, Terry's chocolate orange. The name is a little nod to that as well. So if you've ever seen the old adverts, of course, for chocolate orange, where you tap it, that's where we got the name from for this. So it's a little bit of a homage, if you want, a little bit of a nod towards it. But we love the style. We like bringing it back. There's always good demand for it as well. And so this one, as you'd expect, chocolate orange stout. Having boasted about my glass collection a second ago, I am on my big glass now for trying this one as well. So something maybe quite a large glass for a big 6% dark beer, but it holds that aroma really well. It comes through nicely as you'd expect. You get that orange in there, you get the chocolate. It just works as such a nice base, these big dark beers. You've seen the Parda series. We've tried them together before. You get that roast coffee chocolate. The body is just right there. It's got such a good mouthfeel. There's a bit of a kind of luxurious velvety kick to it as well. And then that orange just coats the palate so well. And for me, it pours nicely and actually ties in as well. As we're drinking out of can here, but we've got some casks on at the tap room you were saying earlier, Russell. How is it going down? How are you enjoying it there?
Yeah, really, really well. Yeah, we were lucky enough, some of us, to get some straight out of the brew when they were racking it not so long ago. But it's now in the tap room, and yeah, it's great. It's like you say, chocolate orange. If Cocoa Wonderland's your kind of your dairy milk, then this is obviously your Terry's chocolate orange, and a little bit lower at 6%. Not quite as sweet as the Pardus range. So you know, the pudding range that we do with the pecan pie and the banoffee and whatever, but still absolutely fantastic, and quaffable as well. You can have a couple more of those, I think, more than the Pardus. So yeah, it's been great. And I mean, I'm a massive fan of cask beer, so I always prefer anything on cask, and it's just brilliant. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's good as well. So if you've not been up and seen Russell or the tap room, it is, you know, it backs into the whole brewery that we had originally at Thornbridge Hall. We've moved down to the site with the tap room in. So as you say, you get first dibs, you get to see it as it's going, see the magic happening. So that's pretty nice. It's, you know, we're only 2 minutes down the road in our sales office there, but yeah, you certainly do well for the proximity to the brewery there too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we kind of we see it, and I think most of us, including Mikey and Ticker, are also on tonight. They are the resident prince and princess of the tap room, but we're always on at Alice and George and Ash, who are the brewers there, and seeing what they're racking day by day, so we know when to bring our growlers in just in case there's any leftovers. So tap it. I mean, dark beers are always one for me, so I was looking out for that from the beginning. But yeah, like you say, James, we're on Riverside Business Park. It's a bit of a bomb at the moment in terms of what they're creating with the new access road. Just up from Aldi, but there's still access into the tap room, so I don't want anyone to think that they can't get there. You can still get to us, plenty of parking, and we're officially already over halfway through the week before Christmas. You know, next week is Christmas week, so you know, make sure if you can get down to us. There's loads and loads of offers on at the moment in the shop, loads of presents to be bought, loads of merchandise and things. You know, this is my sales pitch. Get yourself down there. And enjoy some beer when you're there as well. I mean, you know, we're always happy to make sure that people are trying our beers when they're there. So even if you're flying past and you're just grabbing a gift, you know, let us know if you want to try some beer, and we'll happily oblige.
Yeah, please. We've been doing some training with all the new staff in there today. So
you have, James. I must thank you. Yeah, we've had several new starters over the last couple of months to help us through the Christmas period, and James was ever so kind to come down and do one of his training sessions with them and take them around the main brewery, and then do some beer tasting with them, which I think was probably their favourite part. And yeah, and sent them on their merry way. But yeah, it's invaluable, the training. So thank you once again, James. But it just goes to show, you know, that we're always trying to improve the tap room. We want to make sure that our staff are knowledgeable. You know, they're not just serving you a beer and thanking you for your pennies. You know, if you've got any questions or queries, or you want to know a bit more history, ask away. They, you know, whoever's serving you might not be able to answer, but they certainly know who will at the time. So yeah, head on down.
Yeah, cheers. It's good. It's nice for them to all be there, and we quiz them all as well and just make sure they remembered everything. So yeah, please head through there as well. And how, Russell, you've been with us a few months now, but so what were you doing before this then?
Yeah, I come from a food orientated background. So I was with an Italian chain, and I was opening up new restaurants up and down the country as an ops manager. So I first visited Thornbridge about 10 years ago when I was actually living down south, and I was on holiday in Bakewell. So that was my first experience of it. And then I opened up a restaurant in Derbyshire, which I stayed at for around about 5 years. And while I was there, I'd visit Thornbridge and see the tap room move location from the main office, which is now where we package, over to the barrel room, which I think is now we just use for storage, although alongside we've got online space as well. And then on to where it is now, where it moved to just I think just pre-COVID or during COVID. And yes, it's huge now, you know, sits well over kind of 200 people. Of a weekend on a Saturday, we'll kind of go through 500-600 people through the doors, in and out, hosting all sorts of parties, everything from birthdays to stag do's to wedding anniversaries and you know, all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's me. Because of that, I just love beer. I've just fell in love with Thornbridge, and like I said, I've been constantly coming, and I thought, well, I might as well get paid for the amount of time that I spend in the tap room, as well as enjoy the beers as well. So the first couple of months were difficult to kind of get through, you know, a shift and get home, you know, without having a couple of drinks. But yeah, now it's great. It's great seeing all the new stuff coming in. It's great learning about all the heritage and the history of it, and kind of understanding it from a bit of a deeper level. And it's just, yeah, it's something I love going to do every day. It's great, and the guys are great. Obviously, I can't help but mentioning the guys that work at the tap room, considering they're on the call. You know, I must praise them as well. They've got a great team that work with me, and you know, help us all to deliver what we do.
Yeah, it's good. Well, thanks, and it's good to have you guys all in there as well, especially in this run up to Christmas too. It certainly brings some good experience in there as well. And so just mentioning there as well, Aled, maybe next year chocolate bar theme. Yeah, especially with the Pardus, we've gone a little bit dessert as well, you know, with everything. I do like Turkish Delight. It took me a long old time to get into it, but yeah, I'm a convert, I suppose. So it's something we could certainly look at and we'll push for. That makes me think, actually, when we think about next month, there is going to be the next Pardus release. Was inspired by some conversations that we've had as well. So keep your eyes peeled for the next Pardus coming out in January. At least a few of you who were asking for it will be pleasantly surprised, and it's going to be very good, I'm sure. So definitely keep an eye out for the January boxes. As always, of course, and we'll be here in January again after Christmas talking about it. But it was directly inspired by some of the conversations, and then me going back and saying, this sounds great, let's do this. So yeah, thank you. That'll be January. And then Steve as well there. It's not Terry's like drinking chocolate orange. Lovely on cask from Steve as well. So yeah, as said, it does work really well. Those dark beers, I think around that sort of ABV, anywhere from 4.5 to maybe 6.5, just phenomenal on cask. Even the big Imperials, you get a bit higher as well. But for me, those ones just work so well. That little extra warmth, the way that they're, you know, they're properly conditioned from cask as well. It does really come through nicely. Keith, overtone box ordered. Oh, nice one. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy all of them. James saying thank you there as well. But yeah, no, appreciate it, and hopefully you enjoy all the different beers. Steve is steeped Turkish Delight in vodka. That's maybe something for Christmas. I don't know. We'll have to see. And nothing better than creme brulee. Yeah, to be fair, that one did go down really well as well. But we'll see. We'll certainly keep the Pardus coming and all the different ones as well. But please do keep those suggestions coming in for new ones. We always like to see them, and especially when there's something maybe we've not thought about then, or like you say, Turkish Delight would be an interesting one actually. So I'll have a chat because, like I say, I'm a convert to it. So it'd be interesting to see how the brewers could look at it. Almost feel that perfuming, but yeah, interesting. But then otherwise, yeah, creme brulee also superb. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I think so far the pecan pie has been my like number one actually. I was drinking some last weekend, had some for Thanksgiving. We did a celebration dinner a couple of days after our last call there, and had some, and yeah, that was probably my favorite so far, but creme brulee was certainly up there as well. But talking of beers, of course, and things too, so we'd go on to the Heart Desires. So this one, we wanted to add something, just a little almost extra Christmas bonus, I suppose, into our box this month for December. The Heart Desires is one of the beers we've had around for quite a while now. You know, we've been doing lots of different batches, and we work on how we blend them back and forth. We've done the same with Love Among the Ruins, Days of Creation as well. And those three together make this great series. So I know they've popped up here and there in Beer Club. Maybe you've had them before as well otherwise. But what we do for these ones, the brewers look towards the sort of Belgian beers. And so the other two in the series are darker ones. but this one's a lighter beer. So it's actually brewed originally, it's a Belgian blonde ale. So we take the Belgian blonde ale, brew it up on the big Riverside brew kit that we've got. And then once it's ready, it's just treated as a normal beer up to that point. We then get some French white wine casks. So we used red wine casks for the darker versions of this one, white wine for the heart desires. And we add it into these French white wine casks. And with this one, we put gooseberries in there. So we use this trifecta of one type of yeast, which is our Brettanomyces. We're then using Pediococcus and Lactobacillus as well. And so those two are different types of bacteria. They're working really well to give you this sourness. It's like a clean sourness from the lacto and a really then kind of rough, ready sour as well. So those two start to combine together. Oh my gosh, I've completely lost myself. But the yeast that we're using in here as well, the Brettanomyces, that works so nicely on top of it to it is all about dimension of flavor, depth of flavor. And when you get those three together, it just works so nicely, especially then on top of that gooseberry. So the gooseberry go into the barrels. The original batch of this was 13 months, but it does really all come down to the brewers who are looking at how each one's pairing. So we literally will have a wall of white wine barrels all filled with different bits of gooseberry sour, and they'll be tasting it right through until it's ready. So they'll say, okay, we'll have, say, 20 barrels there. 10 of them will be ready now, so we'll take those out. We'll have some older versions of the beer that will blend back into it, and then we'll hold some back until the next batch as well. So we're really starting to get down that full Belgian route of blending all these different aged sours. And again, just to really stress it's just that it's complicated, but it just tastes so good as well, especially with this one. I think I like our two darker red ales that we do, the Flanders Red style. But this one has so much like zingy, zippy zestiness from that gooseberry flavor coming through that for me, it really like works nicely. And it's good in between these two dark beers as well. We're going to try a Necessary Evil right at the end. That's the last of the box. But this one, it's a palate cleanser. It works perfectly in the middle of drinking some darker beers as well. And for me, I really enjoy just that like nice flavor of it, that reset of the palate too. If I was going to have it as well, we talked about desserts with these. We literally just couldn't quite squeeze a food pairing on this month, unfortunately, on there. But if you're looking at something like just something simple like a dessert, like a cheesecake, an ice cream, anything like that, you can just have a little bit, try a little bit on it, try it with it. It works really nicely, I think, for something, because that sharpness, that zestiness, it'll just cut right through it as well. And at this time of year, we're maybe wanting something a little bit more, we're sitting at home and we're not sitting in the sunshine with salads or anything like that. So go for something a little more desserty to fill you up with this one as well. And you'll see the branding is a little different for these. So this is a stained glass window from Thornbridge Hall. So there is a series of them there. So the Days of Creation, Love Among the Ruins, those labels, the designs were also taken from the Thornbridge Hall stained glass as well. So if you've seen those, it gives you something a little bit different too, compared to, for example, the normal cans or the collab cans that we do as well. What have we got in there? Okay. Steve saying he's had a chocolate stout with rose petals, like Turkish Delight. Yeah, I think rose petals, something like that, you'd maybe have to pop in there as well. Tina, yeah, pecan pie in the Advent box. That's a good Christmassy beer. It's perfect, like I mentioned. It's a Thanksgiving tradition, and then going into these cold, dark months as well. Aled, no plans on the Serpent, unfortunately, at the moment. Really, it was just a one-off. I saw some bottles floating around on Twitter earlier today, actually. If anyone's got any, it will still age really nicely, but it's always good to crack into them, give them a try. It just, unfortunately, because it was a one-off with Brooklyn, there's no current plans to bring that back, but you will see lots of nice, fun, different collabs and barrel-aged stuff that we have coming out as well. Steve, one of your fave sours, but the new Necessary Evil, Christmas in a Glass. Good, I'm pleased. It's, we've had, of course, always good feedback on the Necessary Evil and the sours as well. Aled, how often are these beers made? It depends, to be honest. It's kind of on demand, really. We're still planning a few months in advance with each one, but when we see the demand go up, and we'll start brewing more. When it drops off a little and we're brewing lots of other ones, we'll brew a bit less of it. So we try and keep it steady. At the minute, we're seeing the trend towards, as we're doing these big dark beers in all of the different barrels. So with the Pedro Jimenez and everything else that we have too. So these ones at the moment, not as much while we're doing Necessary Evils, but they'll just be steadily through over time. But that sort of, for me, like I say, one of my real favorites. We've had it in the range for a while and been brewing different pieces and different batches of it too. And every time I come back to it and I drink it, I'm always very impressed. So I like my sours anyway. We were trying some of the Floresta this afternoon with the tastings that we were doing, but then to come back to something like this, whereas to move on from the kettle sour, something just so complex and interesting. These ones will age as well. So if you want to hang on to them for a little while, do try that as well. You can always see what it tastes like. You can compare it. You can have one and get another, and then try it against it as well and see what you think. And let us know. Like I say, a couple of good notes back on the sours there as well already. And then from there, we'll start talking big, dark, Necessary Evil. It is Christmas time after all, so hopefully everyone's getting prepared. As Russell says, it's only next week. We're into Christmas week already. Hopefully people are getting ready for it. I've got your gifts, everything else. But particularly, you've got your big dark beers in ready to go. These I'll be cracking open myself. I'm going away for a few days over Christmas, but these ones I'll be packing a couple of the Necessary Evil. This one, I think actually probably, and one of the bourbon ones at the moment are coming out tops for me. So, but this one's really shone. I've really enjoyed the way it's come through with that Pedro. So Russell, I know you've been absolutely loving this one. So please tell us a little more about this beer.
Yeah, after we logged off the last call, I think I straight away asked to do this one next time. So the bottling for these barrel aged, it's done in the back of the tap room as well on a separate machine. So we're quite close to it as well. Good proximity, which lends itself well. But I've got a bit rogue today. I'm going for a wine glass with my Necessary Evil.
Nice.
I think with it being sherry based, I think it deserves it. It's more of that kind of wine, kind of great variety. Obviously, sherry by nature, really, really sweet, super sweet. In fact, I think there's over 200 grams of sugar per litre. And I think when you rack that up against normal wine, it's around about 40. Even Coca-Cola is about 110, 120. So yeah, super, super sweet. And then, so what we've done is we've got these cask barrels from the southern regions of Spain where Pedro Jimenez originates. Although historically there's been arguments that it's been Australia and South America, but that's where our barrels come from. And then we've chucked a huge boozy stout into it, and we've aged it for 12 months or so. Now, usually these barrels would go over to Scotland and to Ireland, where they'd kind of age fine whiskey, and you get kind of a sherry finish on a whiskey. We've decided to get some into Derbyshire and throw some beer into it and have a go with it, and I think it's worked really, really well. Sweet by nature. The grapes are, the Pedro Jimenez grapes are no good for table wine because the acidity is so low. But yeah, it's great. We spoke about food pairings earlier. Yeah, and typically you'd find it in a trifle because it cuts through kind of the cream. So you need quite an unsweet dessert, so to speak, in order to drink it with it. So yeah, that's where your sherry trifle comes from. But believe it or not, the best thing I think it goes with is a banana. Okay, and I think either a banana on a trifle or a banana bread and butter pudding, as it says in the tasting notes. It's absolutely phenomenal with it. You've got to try it to believe it. Please get yourself a banana out of your fruit basket if you've got one, and have a taste with the Necessary Evil. Have we gone through the story of Necessary Evil, the naming of it, and with Rob before?
No, please take it away.
Okay, so I learned about it obviously recently with joining the company, but Rob Lovett, who's our production director, he was tasked with coming up with a big barrel-aged stout, and he typically loves his Bavarian lager and his kind of Czech lager, anything that's clear, nothing too hazy, and nothing like this. So hence he called it a Necessary Evil, as he was tasked with it, but he didn't quite want to do it. But it's turned out brilliantly, as everyone probably knows. I mean, the bourbon one is one best flavored beer in the world very recently. So you'll see that on our socials, and we we try not to run out of it in the tap room, but every now and again we do run out of it in bottles, and we've recently had that one as well on draft. So it's great, and the range is always developing. The brewers are fantastic in terms of them checking it all the way down the line through the months as well, whilst they're aging it and knowing when to bring it out as well. And I think they've done really, really well with this one. And I particularly was quite excited about it being in a December Beer Club. I think it's worked really, really well. It's a nice treat for Christmas. And yeah, it's great to be sharing it with all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Russell. And trying to get us all healthy as well. I like that. That's perfect.
Absolutely. It's one of your 5 a day. Okay. The banana, one of the 5 a day. It means you can have as many as you want of these. But yeah, it's definitely a supping beer, and hopefully one to be shared. But you know, I can't ask you to do that.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely, as you say, I think one of my favorites so far already out of the Necessary Evil series. I've enjoyed all of them. It's my sort of style. I like those big imperial stouts, but yeah, this one particularly has gone down well. I will be trying it. I've not tried it with a banana yet, so I will definitely be doing that. I'll let you know. And yeah, I'm excited to do it. It sounds like a great combination though.
Yeah, make sure you do. I'll have some bananas in the tap room tomorrow. I'll be giving out 3 bananas for every bottle of Pedro Jimenez barrel-aged stout that we do.
I can't say fairer than that. So
exactly.
Brill. And then so Keith there saying Necessary Evil, one of the all-time favorite beers. Steve, takeaway from this is Necessary Evil's one of the 5 a day. So you didn't hear that from us, Steve. But yeah, you know, if you want to have 5 in a day, then that's between you and
it's a personal opinion there.
But no, so I'm glad everyone's been enjoying those as well. And yeah, thanks for talking us through it, Russell. It's been going down really well already, this one. And this one, like I say, and the classic bourbon I'll certainly be taking with me on holiday over Christmas as well. So no, it should be good. And well, hopefully people have been enjoying the beers this evening. And yeah, as always, reach out to us too. And you know, while we're sort of finishing up and everything else and talking through last beers, just to say again, thank you all for joining us right through the year. Really appreciate, you know, every month we've been logging in, talking beers, hanging out. Hopefully you all have very nice Christmases, New Year's as well. Thank you, James, for coming to join us, taking the time out of your evening to chat about our collaboration brew with us, and to Charlotte and Russell as well for you know, for looking after us and talking beers with us as well. But yeah, really appreciate everything, guys. Thank you all very much for another year. We'll see you all. We're going to do the 19th of January is going to be the next one. So yeah, hopefully you'll be joining us then. Some of you might have your 2-year glasses there as well. And then, yeah, Keith, thank you for, you know, taking the time, jumping on and joining us as well. It's been good to have everyone joining us too, especially this close to Christmas. But yeah, thank you all very much. See you all in January. Have great Christmases, New Year's. Enjoy lots of beers. Hopefully when we're back, you can tell us all about the beers you've been enjoying over that time. And then take care. Have a good evening, guys, and good night.
Cheers, everyone.